Right, and I am just remembering now to start the recording as we are in the process of having old energy be released from the bottom of our feet. And this is a process to help stop fear paralysis. It's a reflex that happens when we're shocked. And there's just a lot of shocking things happening these days. So imagining energy from the bottom of your feet is being released and heading down to the center of the earth, and that fresh energy can come up the backside of a golden grounding cord that goes to your tailbone for distribution throughout your body from your spine. And I'm just waiting for the pulses to even out. Very good. Take a deep breath in and let that go. Great. All right. So hello and welcome from cloudy Washington State, where I am here to help my dad this week. And the next thing that I'm going to be doing is releasing emotion from the emotional stress release point and from the K27s, which is the end of the kidney meridian, which is at your collarbones, about an inch below the bottom of your collarbones. And there's kind of a flat area before your ribs start. So that's that area. And then the ESRs are up at the top, an inch above your eyebrows. So when we work on ourselves, this is something that you can have handy anytime you want. You put the right hand below because it's a positive charge on your right hand, and you take your left hand and you put it an inch above your eyebrows in the center point of your eyes. So you don't have to do that right now unless you want to. You can help support that, but if you just want to relax, you can do that. As I hold that for the group and allow it to process and release. Just looking to come back into balance between calming the kidney meridian energy, which can get kind of overwhelmed when we have a lot of emotional stress, and also connecting to that prefrontal cortex, which is all about impulse control. So when it's overwhelmed, the brain goes back into the brainstem and the emotional brain. And this way we're sending energy to the forebrain and saying, hey, sweetie, wake up. It's okay. We can come back online now. So just getting that working together again. Again, waiting for that field to balance, which it's doing. So take a deep breath in and just let that go. Great. Great. Alrighty, so now we're going to go into the Bund meditation. Last time I was talking about doing something a little different with the Bund meditation. So what we're going to be doing is when we take a deep breath in, we're going to be following it up with another deep breath. And we're just kind of topping off what little space might be left in the lungs. And when we do that, there's a couple of things that are going on. So first off, when we start, if you have an easy time holding your breath for a long period of time, this would be easier for you. But as a beginner, this is what is probably going to be happening for more of you. Because certainly when I was, very anxious and starting down this path, I couldn't take very deep breaths and I couldn't hold them for very long. And that's definitely related to having trauma. So just know that it can shift and change, and that the more you do this exercise on a daily or weekly basis with me, the more you will be developing lung capacity and increased calm as a result of it. But so as a beginner, what's going to happen most likely is you'll take a deep breath and you'll imagine it coming to about here. And then your other deep breath will chase it. And then together, they'll both come down to the junction, which is 3 finger widths below the belly button, and then back up to whichever chakra we're working on. We start at the top and we work our way down, and we only do 5 rather than more in this silent practice. So let's see what else. And just quickly, it's something that you can find useful in your everyday experience. When you find that you're getting stressed out in the moment, you just take a tiny breath in, just a super tiny breath with intention of your connecting to this exercise, and you will find that it's amazingly helpful. So, you taking a tiny breath in like that, and then when you release, that's all you're releasing, really. It's all that you need to start that process. All right, so let's go ahead and get ready and take a deep breath in, and then a second one in, and bring it down to 4 finger widths below the base of the junction, and bringing that energy, holding the breath, the energy comes to your crown chakra. And when you're ready to release, it will head upwards like purple smoke. And then just relaxing in between. I'll always call out when we're going to start before we go into the next one. So as you get better at being able to hold your breath longer, and in coordinating the intention of this process, you will find that you have the time to be able to take the deep breaths, the first one, and send it down to the junction before you take the second breath and send it to the junction too. And so that's your meeting point once you have the breath capacity. And until you do, don't worry about it. I know one person, so in practice, I was doing this as part of a group of people who are interested in this type of Tibetan meditation. And there was one person who had been doing it for years, and she only ever did one, and she one breath like this, where the rest of us did 3. And she also was holding it for very short periods of time, and she got what she needed to from it. This is not a competition. It's not a race. It's not a perfection. It's a practice. So it will help you. So let's go ahead and do the throat chakra next. That's sky blue, taking a deep breath in, and then top it off, sending the energy down to 3 finger widths below at the junction. And then the energy is here while the breath holds. And when you're ready to release, it's 360 degrees around the throat, sky blue smoke. And just relaxing in between. And next we will be working with the heart chakra, that emerald green color. Taking a deep breath in, and then a second to chase it. Sending the energy down to 3 finger widths below the belly button, and then holding the energy at the heart. And the breath is held. And when you're ready to release, 360 degrees all around your body, purple smoke, green smoke. Just breathing normally and relaxing. Now we'll move on to the solar plexus chakra, and that is a nice yellow color. Taking a deep breath in, another, and sending both breaths to 3 finger widths below the belly button, holding the breath while sending the energy to that yellow spot right in the stomach region of your abdomen. And hanging on to that as long as is comfortable, and releasing 360 degrees all around the yellow smoke. Great. Alrighty, and the last one is going to be sending energy down from the first chakra, that red right there. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in, followed by the second, sending that energy down to 3 finger widths below the belly button, and then sending the energy while holding the breath to that red chakra, the first chakra. And when you're ready, releasing the energy down towards the earth. And just breathing normally when you're ready. So you should be feeling pretty comfortable now between those first 3 exercises. I do want to encourage you guys to be working a little bit with emotions if you feel that you're ready. You can find them on both on my Instagram account. I have all 30 on my Instagram account. Look, probably about a year or so back. There's a bunch of pictures like this. And so when you're feeling anxiety, maybe you don't have time in the moment in your busy day or feel comfortable out in public, right? We wouldn't do that. But when we're home at night and we're in a safe spot, we can go ahead and connect in. The left hand would be on these purple dots up above, and the right hand would be touching either the right side of the body at this point or the left side of the body at this point. You could start with one and then do the other. Just reach across the body and do the other. And then just giving your body permission to feel it. And that way, you can, with these 30 emotions, which are also in my book, Your Best Health by Friday, with some more instruction about that, you can have access to starting to talk to your body and be that good parent that you want to be. So now I'm going to read the goal for today's session. I am healed in body, speech, and mind. I am comfortable in my body. I allow my body and mind to learn from and let go of old stress and trauma. I am allowed to feel calm. It is safe for me to feel calm and peaceful in my body. I sleep deeply through the night, knowing everything always turns out marvelously well. My negative core beliefs are healed. My relationships are easy and peaceful. I stay calm throughout my day, even when provoked. My higher power supports me fully in this. I deeply love all of my inner children who are stressed and traumatized and who keep me from feeling calm and peaceful. I invite them home to my heart. I am peaceful and prosperous. My resources are generous and I share them with others. My parents and siblings want this for me. My extended family and friends want this for me. Society wants this for me. So I state the goal because there are always inner children within us that are going to be stressed by a goal. And that's true of whatever goal we have. So to heal from PTSD, this is a very basic group. It's what emotions we have in common to release. It's not getting into specific details for you. But even that type of goal will cause subconscious stress. And that is what then comes up for healing for us. And we are like the onion with many layers. If we made too many changes too quickly, it would be a problem for continuity for our subconscious. So that's why we go ahead and just send love and acceptance and gratitude for whatever layer our subconscious is willing to work on with us today. And like I've said before, I like calling it the child mind because that sounds a lot less intimidating, right? Makes us understand more that we have these parts within ourselves that just were doing the best they could with the tools that they had and didn't know any better, had to try to survive our childhood. Um, okay, so, and then a little bit more education about how our child mind is, in its eyes, it's a hero. It is trying to use old rules, though. It's just following those old rules, mostly set before the age of 18, especially before the conscious mind starts to develop at the age of 7. It thinks it knows more than we do, because frankly, it does. It knows everything that we know, plus a whole lot more that we don't know, because it's been hidden from us, because we couldn't possibly try to make every decision as a conscious decision. There need to be automatic patterns. But it is operating in the now, as if every person in our lives that was alive and every situation in our life that was set up during our childhood is still in existence. It limits us that way. And so we want to be the good parent to say, oh, sweetheart, that's not going to work anymore. We have to raise our vibration. And I love you, and I know more than you do in this instance, and I can call on myself and my higher power to be able to help heal this little one. And so that's what how I would try to phrase it is, little one, we can heal by handing it off to our higher power, and try to be the safest conscious mind that we can for them. Catching ourselves if we find that we're thinking negatively about ourselves because it wounds them. And instead of thinking negatively, sending that part of us that's misguided love, it's trying its best. And who knows, maybe next week that layer will come up to heal. All right. So it is calling in events over and over so we can learn emotionally, because we are an emotional species. We are, everything is based around the social, and social emotional learning is vital. So all of the emotions that we generate are lodged in our body, and it's an opportunity to just take one drop of that feeling and let your body learn it, so it doesn't have to keep calling in that feeling. Over time, I'm not suggesting it the first time or second time or third time necessarily for anyone, but over time, what I found was that I could trust that when the points were held, I'm holding the points for the group, when the points are held, it's safe to be able to call in that permission for the body to learn and feel. And then once the points are no longer held, the emotion doesn't keep coming. I don't know about you, but I was just constantly flooded by stuff to the point where I had to put a wall up until the dam broke, and I had to learn how to deal with it because there just was no hiding from the flooding. And this acupressure, emotional acupressure, is what fixed me and healed me. Oh, always give your inner child a positive destination. That child mind needs to know that everything always turns out marvelously well. Life will keep bringing in things, and we will constantly be heading back into the automatic pattern of maybe it's being afraid, maybe it's catastrophizing, feeling like the worst is going to happen. So as soon as you can, and again, this is a practice, the muscle gets stronger the more you try. As soon as you can, you just think, oh, everything always turns out marvelously well. And realize that it's an upper limit problem that's dragging us back down and sending that part of our inner inner child experience, that child mind experience love. Because if it wasn't wounded, it wouldn't call it up for us. It loves us. It wants us to survive. It's our best partner that we could possibly have. That and the superconscious, which is always connected to the higher power channel, always wants what's best for us. But because we have free will and these wounded parts of ourselves are changing the dial in our life destination, we just have to, on manual input, constantly be circling back to everything always turns out marvelously well. Oh, I see you, upper limit problem. I love you. And knowing that you will continually be in the process of healing layers after layer after layer. All right. So let's go ahead into the emotional clearing, which this first one is someone else's feeling. Let's just see. Yeah. So this is calamity. Calamity. Like disaster or misfortune. So when we're young, we think that if we feel somebody's feeling for them, that we'll have an increased chance of survival. And we actually aren't doing them any favors, because this could be like a parent, for example. If they're flooded by feeling, they're going to be maybe lying on the couch instead of getting a job. But they don't ever learn the feeling, and they're here as part of their soul growth to be able to learn feelings. So we're actually not doing them a favor. Yes, it helped our survival. But for those of you who might still feel like guilty for helping yourself over a parent or a caretaker of some kind, just know that for their highest and best, to learn it in this lifetime is what is needed. And it's also important to put on your oxygen mask first. Caring for your needs allows you to be able to be available for other people's needs. So just giving your body permission and noticing sensations. Everyone will have certain feelings which feel really scary and terrible to even possibly connect with. It might have to do with not trusting your sense of self, feeling like you're bad if you have any of the feeling within you. But really, every human has these feelings. It's whether or not we allow ourselves to feel them. And ultimately, it's our actions that are the paramount importance. We can journal about our feelings. We can talk to a friend about our feelings, about another situation, a family member or something. There's so much that we can do to process feelings. But the core thing here is that, as those of you who do the morning pages with Julia Cameron, that kind of work, what's happening there is understanding that the beauty of our soul is like a beautiful deep pond, and that as we identify the feelings within that pond that are disturbing the pond, breaking the surface of the pond, you might say, like scum on the pond, they make the pond still beautiful. It's, yes, you can say it gets to a point where there's just a lot of too much algae on the pond, right? But by feeling them and making peace with them, we let the body learn, and it doesn't become a constant fixation that the body is trying to draw in these negative experiences. And I was just waiting for that to balance out, and it did. So take a deep breath in and let that go. The other thing about other people's emotions is when we hold them when we're too young to know any better, right? we don't know what's our emotion and what's somebody else's emotion. And so we could be going around our lives feeling like calamity is always, uh, it's perpetual black cloud raining on us, and it's not even ours, right? So this is great to release. And let's see, so there's another one. And this is also somebody else's emotion. This is the feeling of allotment. Um, so this is a very physical reality grounded feeling that everybody has their share and I can't have any more. There's a pie and it's for dessert in the family. There are 8 people in the family. I get one piece. Um, so let's go ahead and start to give your body permission, and then just noticing sensations again, like hot and cold, numbness, tingling, pressure, ease, movement, discomfort. All of that is normal and part of the emotion being learned by your body. And if you feel any tension in your body, just release it and send it love. If the sensation is uncomfortable, send it love. And it can just be a drop. There can be a spring cleaning, anything in between. It's up to you, whatever feels safe, whatever feels right in the moment. So, allotted and allotment, these are things that make sense in a 3D world. But in a metaphysical way, there is only infinite, there's only abundance. And it's our blinders that keep us in that realm of limitation that allotment requires. Back in the day, if somebody needed electricity, it meant somebody else might not get it. And when we shift into a metaphysical mind frame, that's when things start to happen, like the progress being made with discovering that first step towards fusion that happened not that long ago. So finding new sources of energy that can start to be developed so that there isn't that same kind of worry about that 8-piece pie, then in fact, oh, there's now a whole other thing of unlimited pie, right? Take a deep breath in and let that go. Great. And there's another emotion. This time, I think this is the first time maybe we've done a soul emotion. Okay. And this, there's a frequency connection into the Greek alphabet that I've been working on. This is the Greek letter epsilon, so something that the soul needs for us to connect in with. So just notice in your body what your body's deciding to do with that. Give it permission. It could just be a drop again. And notice where that sensation was in your body. And maybe it spreads to different parts of your body. That's all normal. Anywhere from head to toe. Could start off in your head and then wind up in your toe. Could start off in your chest, wind up in your hip. It's just a wonderful mystery how all this is put together. But it is definitely connected to the genius of the body and the mind. And take a deep breath in and let that go. Okay. Another emotion. This is also a soul emotion. And this one is doubts and misgivings. So for all of these emotions that come in each time during the goal, the body's doing two things. It's saying to us, hey, if you want us to have that goal be true, I need to learn these feelings so I don't keep calling them in. Sometimes also it can be giving us a lesson, sort of an explanation of what it was doing behind the scenes to keep us from being able to have that internal glass ceiling eliminated. So if the child mind is trying to save our lives, sometimes it's providing red herrings of feelings, like in a mystery book, when you're sent off in the wrong direction, there's a red herring that the author has given you. So the child mind is trying to be the author in our life and sending us doubts and misgivings. It's not specifically stopping us, but it certainly, if I had an idea and I suddenly had feelings of doubts and misgivings, I wouldn't trust the idea, right? And so it's also a way that the child mind can say, okay, I don't need this tool anymore right now. You can experience the reality of the situation when you do this kind of work. So just going ahead and connecting into the body, sending it love, getting that drop or more, up to you. When the field is coming into balance, take a deep breath in and let that go. Great. Alrighty. And we have one more feeling. It is ancestral this time. And this one is a feeling of degeneration. So that would be the opposite of renewal. So we can often have a feeling that we are, as we age, that we don't have access to things that we need, that we start to see our limitations more and more. But also this can be a survival thing by that child mind trying to protect us. So letting your body feel and learn this feeling, it's something that it needs to learn. It's something that's actually, as an ancestral emotion, has been so important that it's passed down in the family line. So this is something that you then clear for your past ancestral line, as well as any descendants you have. And of course, what we want is to be able to renew, to be able to regenerate, to be able to heal body, speech, and mind. How lovely to, just by feeling a drop of this emotion of degeneration, that we can start that process of learning for the body, for that child mind. Great, and that is coming into balance. Take a deep breath in and let that go. Great. Wonderful. Alrighty. So now I'm going to do a chakra reset for us, and I'll be talking about a little something while I do that. So about 2 inches above your head, asking for universal energy to come through and reset that chakra. The child mind can turn off connection to chakras and sub-chakras in order to prevent our goals from coming true. And it isn't something to be upset by. It's something to just say, oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry that you had to resort to that because I didn't know how to interact with you. I love you. Everything's okay. Everything always turns out marvelously well. So today I did also, while I'm doing this, want to mention road rage. I had a law firm, believe it or not, reach out to me and ask me to link to their website in Minnesota to talk about their tools about road rage, which, they were talking about how it's trauma related, and absolutely it is. So I figured that it was just a sign. You're not going to see it on my website to link to the lawyers, but just to remind from my standpoint is it's not just a trauma response, but it's also that the person who's generating it is having a moment of feeling like a loser that they can't tolerate. And it puts them into brainstem at that point. They are in, kill or be killed mode. And what they're looking for, if they're doing it to you, is usually to be the victor and for you to be the victim. So um, if you find that you're the one who's doing it, tell yourself that you're a winner, and that will help you get out of fight or flight. And just know that if somebody else is doing it to you, that's because there's a piece in you that is perfectly aligning with them to say that you can be taken from, that you will be their loser and they will be the winner. So what you want to do in the moment is a technique that comes from martial arts. All of their energy is about, all of the moves that they're doing is about making sure that your energy is strong and the opponent's energy is weak. So they make all of the fancy moves, the hi-ya kind of things to strengthen their chi energy and lower their opponent's energy. So if you just imagine from your first chakra coming up the front of your body to your lower lip, this is the central meridian, and you just imagine doing this. It's like zipping up a jacket. That energy is strengthening you. And then imagine that you are unzipping their jacket. You don't have to move anything. It's just an imagination. And that way you're, instead of being in the same energetic, you're in opposite energetics, and that protects you. Alrighty, so that is the reset. Now we're going to integrate inner children, and some of you might not be ready for this yet. So just notice if it feels safe for you. Like if you have empathy for your inner children, then it should be perfectly fine for you to do this. But every once in a while, I come across someone who can't lovingly connect with their inner children, in which case their inner children aren't going to feel safe to come home to your heart. And just know that you will eventually get there if you continue this process of coming to weekly sessions. You just might feel like you just want to picture yourself in a beautiful, safe place while we do this exercise. And one of these times you'll get the feeling that, oh, now I'm ready. All right. And if you do need more time than what I'm going to run through, just know that you can go to the 4th video of mine from the beginning. So not the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, but the 4th. And I believe it's somewhere around the 35th minute mark, you will find the inner child exercise. So for those of us who are going to participate, just go ahead and imagine yourself in a beautiful, safe place. And there are 5,000 of these inner children going from birth into the present day. And imagine them just happily in this beautiful place, playing, living a peaceful existence, and that you can walk up to them and either out loud or in your head say hello to them. Tell them, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were here all alone. I came as soon as I heard. I'm you, all grown up. We've survived and we've thrived. Your home is in my heart. Come home to my heart. and show them pictures of you between the ages of birth to the present day so they know you survived. And now ask them if they're willing to come home to your heart. And if you get a yes, go ahead and proceed with me. And if not, then you can bring home the ones that are willing to come and then go back to that fourth video. And for the rest of the ones who need more help, there's more explanation and more time. Alrighty, so visualizing these inner children being able to turn into points of light and to head home towards your heart. You might be sensing about a shimmering or vibration in the body as they are released by the fascial train and start to head home to your heart. And then taking a deep breath in, sending out a buttery yellow light of self-compassion to every cell in your body. And when you're ready to take another deep breath in, this time sending out love and gratitude to every layer of you that cooperated here today. Great. Alrighty, so that is complete. And now I will do removing of negative energies. Let's go ahead, get comfortable, and I'm a little quiet while I do this. Okay. So that's complete. And then the last thing is to think about gratitude, thinking about how you felt when you joined this morning and how you feel now, comparing that. And so gratitude to yourself for showing up, and gratitude to your subconscious, that child mind, for working with you, for your higher power for always being there for you. And taking time for gratitude works so well because it confirms that you like the direction you're going in and that you want more of the same. So it's like an instruction manual for your child mind. Alrighty. So let's see. Alrighty, I just got sucked into the chat box by accident. Alrighty, here I am. So if anybody wants to talk about how that was for them, if it was helpful, or have any questions, please let me know. I'd love to hear how this was for you.
I'll share. Hi, Liz, and hi, everybody. I really enjoyed the inner child integration part the best. I really noticed a difference in, I don't know, just allowing that sort of channel to be open. I think I was resistant. Just the terminology has thrown me off. Inner children, it just sounded kooky to me at first. And even though I've been in adult children's of alcoholics and I I've been around that term for a while, but I'm just remembering, like, at first I just thought, inner children, what does that mean? Does it apply to me? But all I do know is that there is a part of me that is shut down, and I think it is because of trauma that happened at a certain age. So
Mhm.
I do see now that there's sort of an imprint in my body. And as I've done body work and increased safety around just talking about the feelings that I get when I go in touch with that part of me, um, not so much like exposing the exact trauma, but just before that, even just soothing the loving parent, the critical parent, paying attention to my internal dialogue. I think all of that has improved since I started just even baby steps into just again allowing these inner children to just feel safe enough to sort of wake up or peek their head out. And then
Mhm.
I guess the last thing I would say would to be aware too of there's a very distinct feeling of defiance that I get from what I'm thinking is like a child that's a teenager. There's a
Yes.
definite rambunctious,
Yes.
um, feisty little, part of me that really enjoys breaking the rules. And I'm
Mhm.
trying to be able to tell that part of me that we don't need to do that anymore. We're
Mhm.
okay. We're safe. And I guess I'm saying I don't need to figure it all the nuances out. All I know is that the practice, the action of just paying attention, even just a little bit, has
Yeah.
brought me a tremendous amount of relief and awareness of what's going on in my body and the ability to make a conscious choice of like, nope, not doing that. I have a choice.
Good.
We're gonna go for a walk or do the somatic things that you suggest. Take a shower, put my hands in cold water, eat something, call a friend. There's a number of things I can do rather than ruminate or maybe even do a maladaptive behavior that could end up in something, harming me or hurting a
Yeah.
relationship. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. A pleasure. So I'll speak to that, and then I saw Aisha had a couple of questions. So, um, it is so interesting how these parts of ourselves are lodged in specific areas, and they really do recall certain experiences in our past. Um, and particularly, I find the teenage inner child experience, that child mind, these parts of ourselves that had something happen in the teenage years. We're grown-ups. We are uncool now to them. And they're like, "Ugh, I don't think so. You're not hip. You're not, like, I even had, like, one time I had one of them who I could tell, I could, like, when I finally connected and was trying to bring her home, she was embarrassed. She was embarrassed of me. And I was like, oh my God, now I know what the adults in my life were going through, I mean, yeah. So it is funny how it captures a part of our essence in time that is still reacting based on who we were back then, and it's bringing it home. And if this kind of thing, if healing our wounded, traumatized parts were logical and rational, all of our scientists and doctors and whatnot, psychologists, they would have figured it out a long time ago. And there's so much that they figured out. And I turn to them first in every situation. But this is something that is information that's irrational, that's illogical, that I didn't want to ever have to connect with. This was not my choice. I was a total Western medicine, give me a pill any time of the day, all day long. That was, I was convinced that there was going to be a pill that would solve my psychological problems. And unfortunately, there was a good deal that lay in connecting to the body. Um, Ultimately, I wouldn't have traded a thing for what I've gone through to get to where I am now, because I never had the happiness or the peace or the ease or the freedom from anxiety and fear that I do now. Um, And it's something that I wish for all of you, and I know that for all of you, as you continue coming each week, that you will get more and more in alignment with and have more and more time in those good parts. So, Aisha, thank you. I'm glad that that was helpful. And the feeling of epsilon, I think of as a frequency. So I don't at this point have a word for it, because I believe that there, just in that way that I was describing before, there's rational and irrational, and um, depending on your beliefs, you could think of it as a star language, or just a prior way of connecting in with past learnings of other civilizations. I wouldn't be surprised if I start coming up with Greek words, but it's fun. I come up with these downloads of what the feelings are in different ways. And one of the ways that I do come up with them is I just muscle test what letter is next. And I've had words come up with meanings in Finnish and meanings in Urdu and meanings in Swahili and meanings in Vietnamese. And they're, exactly perfect kind of essence words that probably wouldn't, you'd struggle with multiple words to explain it rather than just one, because there's a way in which each culture has its own genius of the human experience. So I hope that answers your question. I'm imagining that there's some kind of way that the Greeks had that is connecting to epsilon there. Any other question? Yeah. Well, I should mention I am thinking of starting, the goal would be eventually to start a group of people working on your own goal. And that would be at 9 o'clock on Wednesdays. So it's probably going to be a while yet before we have enough people to start that kind of group. And yeah, thanks, Aisha. I'm glad that helps. I do also intend to start a group for cancer survivors. And in my world, everyone is a cancer survivor. That's just how it works. You call in the energetics of it to allow the physical part of it to manifest. And actually, every difficulty that we have starts first with our energy being out of alignment. Bye, Yulia. So I intend to, if you know of anybody who has cancer or who has had cancer who's interested in energy healing, do let me know. I intend to start that at 8 o'clock in the mornings on Wednesdays, and that'll also be free. And then in between, for anyone who wants to work on a goal, say for 6 weeks, to have a paid group for that in between time for anybody to join. So I guess that's it for today, and I will stop the recording. And yeah, there we go.